Right now at 5, a Joplin school goes into lockdown as police search for a suspected thief.
We've got some light snow out there, even a few flurries. Shouldn't be much, but slick spots possible. We'll take a look at the forecast and how chilly it's going to be today coming up.
Also, the big game is 2 days away, and some former athletes are suing the league.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. and I'm Cale Chapman.
I'm Chris Warner, and you are way too excited at 5 o'clock in the morning.
It's Red Friday, Chris.
Okay, I'll give you that. That's a fact. It's only one of us. You can go now. The television has spoken. The director lords have spoken. It is just, you may go.
I got you.
It's great to, I haven't worked with you other than on the weekend, so it's exciting to have you here.
It is excited to be here.
Yeah, we have some light snow out there, unfortunately. I wasn't sure if the truck in front of me was just kicking up rocks until I turned onto a side road and went, no, those are actual snow flurries. It was hard to tell. You never know.
Yeah.
And taking a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, you can see that there's some light snow out there. There it is. Look at that. Some of it coming down decently, but again, it's not really going to stick. It shouldn't do much, but could cause some slick spots on the area roadways. As we look at the MoDOT camera at 32nd and Range Line, nothing sticking out there, and there were some flurries in Joplin this morning. In fact, right now, we're just plain old cloudy, 35, feeling like 28 with a north breeze at 9. So that's the other thing, is we're above freezing in a number of locations as well, even where the snow is falling. We're at 29 in, Iola, 34 in Fort Scott, 36 Miami, 35 Neosho and Carthage. As we look to start our day, we got those flurries, maybe some light snow, should be out of here by about 10 o'clock. And we're a little bit colder today. We're hovering in the 30s into the afternoon. We'll eventually make it to a high of about 41 degrees, so we'll be in the upper 30s, lower 40s. We'll hang on to those 30s through the afternoon, and we'll be mostly cloudy. The good news is the skies will eventually begin to clear as we head into this evening. We're down to 28 for a low, and we'll start to, again, see mostly clear skies as we head overnight, which is a good thing. We are also watching warmer weather. Oh, man, I'm telling you, as we head into the weekend and next week, we start to actually warm up. We get above normal, back into the lower to mid-50s, even the lower 60s by Wednesday. But as you can see, the weather gets a little cranky as we head into the start of next week as well. We've got rain building in late Monday night into Tuesday. Then we could see a late wintry mix Wednesday into Thursday morning. And we go from that 61 on Wednesday to 38 on Thursday. So absolutely chilly out there. But we get a little taste of spring. We're in that fall spring kind of time, but we're almost to real spring.
Exactly, yeah. You got to go through fall spring to get to first spring, and then fool's summer, and then second spring before getting to real summer.
Yeah. There's a lot. We have several seasons here in the 4 states, and so we're going to experience at least a couple of them in the next week or so.
That's just how it is.
That is. And I've mentioned this before. Would we have it any other way? I mean, if we had just the standard 4 seasons and things did exactly what they were supposed to do. Yeah, exactly. We would be so bored. We wouldn't know what to do with ourselves.
Exactly.
We'll take a look at more of the forecast and further down the road here in a few minutes.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you, Chris. A Sikeston, Missouri man learns his fate for a 2019 robbery. A Cherokee County court sentenced Joseph Ships to 7 years in prison. Ships was found guilty by a jury of robbery, attempting to elude law enforcement, and driving while suspended. Evidence shows Ships forced a man from his vehicle during a traffic stop back in December of 2019 and fled in it. When the vehicle entered Oklahoma, OHP performed a tactical vehicle intervention maneuver to stop Ships. Ships is being held in the Cherokee County Jail pending transfer to the Kansas Department of Corrections. And a Joplin school went into lockdown Thursday morning as police searched for a theft suspect. Around 7 a.m., authorities in Webb City were chasing a stolen vehicle. That chase led into Joplin at the intersection of Zora and 249, where the suspect left the vehicle and ran. Authorities then received an alert of a suspicious person at College Heights Christian School. The school was put on lockdown and searched, but the suspect was not found. A scary moment for some school kids in Carthage. On Thursday morning, a Carthage School District bus transporting students was involved in an accident at Chapel and Fur Road. All students were given the opportunity to be evaluated on scene by a medical professional. A few of those students did seek additional medical care, but all of the students were taken back to school safely. Parents were notified and arrangements were made for the rest of the day. Authorities in Texas and Oklahoma are trying to identify a Jane Doe in Texas they believe to be a missing girl from Oklahoma. 12-year-old Cheryl Taylor of Pitcher, Oklahoma was last seen on July 28, 1978. She was seen walking on the sidewalk in front of a Pitcher grocery store between 7:15 and 7:30 p.m. According to Mark Wall, who is a part of the Ottawa and Delaware County Cold Case Unit, they got a break in the case. His investigation turned up a teenage Jane Doe in Texas, and they're trying to match DNA samples to identify her. Wall believes it is Cheryl, as both she and the Jane Doe have red hair. However, trying to confirm it's going to be tricky, as both Cheryl's mother and aunt cannot be found to give DNA samples. If you have any information on where Cheryl Taylor's relatives are, please call Mark Wall at 918-452-5547. A big announcement from Pitt State on Thursday afternoon, a $50 million project that will expand the university's footprint in the Block 22 neighborhood. The school says the keystone for the district will be a new building for the Kels College of Business at 5th and Broadway on the property currently leased by BMO Harris Bank. The project also includes a redevelopment of the historic Best Hotel, the tallest building in southeast Kansas. In addition, the university will partner with the Colonial Fox Theater to share space in a 2-story pavilion already planned by the theater to be put on the empty lot owned by the Fox.
While they're here at Pittsburgh State University, either as undergraduates or graduate students, by connecting them to our community more deeply, to our region more deeply, to our businesses more deeply, we hope to do multiple things. And primarily that is helping those businesses and communities to grow even while those students are here.
Of the total $50 million cost, the Pittsburgh State University Foundation already has $7 million in hand, contributed by donors for the Kels College of Business portion. The university this week learned it's also getting a $12.5 million grant from the Kansas Department of Commerce. Private-public partnerships will be sought to shore up the gap. Construction is slated to start in 2024, with classes beginning in 2026. As Super Bowl weekend approaches, bickering between Chiefs and Eagles fans is common on social media. However, it's good for fans to remember that good sportsmanship is one of the best ways to truly rep their team. The coach for the Carl Junction High School girls basketball team dedicates an unlikely win to good sportsmanship. They were down more than 20 points late in the game, yet his players showed great sportsmanship despite the score and ended up winning. Coach Shorter leads by example.
And how I conduct myself in pressure type situations, or situations maybe that don't go my way or our way as a team. I think that's really important. So modeling that good sportsmanship, I think, really kind of bleeds into your team and gives them a chance to also have that good sportsmanship in return.
And remember, having a passion for sports does not give you a free ticket to be a bad sport. We'll have more on good sportsmanship in our 6 o'clock show. With Super Bowl Sunday just days away, a metaphorical penalty flag is being thrown at the National Football League. Some former players announced that they are taking legal action against the league's disability program for health-related reasons. John Loring reports.
As the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs get ready for Super Bowl 57 at Arizona's State Farm Stadium, 10 former NFL players are suing the league's disability program, Commissioner Roger Goodell, and the Disability Board. Among the claims in the lawsuit, the former players say that they were wrongfully denied benefits and that the NFL allegedly found ways to limit payments for their health problems.
We're the one league that goes back every year and reevaluates everything we do, whether it's a safety rule or whether it's a competitive rule, whether it's taking out techniques to make our game safer for our players.
NFL spokesperson Brian McCarthy issued a statement on the lawsuit that said its disability plan is, quote, fair and administered by a professional staff. And the league says some of the actions taken have made a difference on the field.
Overall injuries in games this year, whether it be preseason games or regular season games, we're down somewhere between 5 and 6%.
We encourage players and coaches and everyone else to come forward when they have symptoms so we can deal with those medically and make sure that they're handled professionally.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Kickoff for Sunday's game is at 5:30. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden has yet to confirm if he'll take part in the traditional pre-Super Bowl Sunday presidential interview with the network that's hosting the game. You can watch this year's Super Bowl on our sister station, Fox 14. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, it's about to be rivalry night as the Lady Lions take on the Lady Gorillas. We'll have more details on how Coach Russell feels about the upcoming game. Plus, as the KC Wolf packs up to head to Arizona for the Super Bowl, it's got us wondering, what's your favorite mascot? And if you're someone who drinks coffee, we have some good news for you. A new study reveals how 2 cups of coffee a day is good for you. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Well, the NFL awards ceremony was last night in Phoenix, Arizona. In a surprise to not really anybody, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes has been named the league's MVP. For Mahomes, it's his second career MVP. This season, he threw for 5,200 yards and 41 touchdowns, leading the league in both categories. His first MVP came in 2018 when he threw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. Mahomes is now one of just 10 players in the NFL history to win multiple MVP awards. Mahomes and the Chiefs are just 2 days away now from playing in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs facing the Eagles on Sunday in Super Bowl 57 in their third Super Bowl appearance in 4 years. Kansas City heads into the Super Bowl with the best QB in the game and also the league's best tight end. Travis Kelce led all tight ends with 1,300 receiving yards in the regular season. He was also second in the entire league in receiving touchdowns with 12. Kelce is already second all-time in playoff receiving yards.
Why am I always open? I say it all the time. Andy Reid, baby. Big Red. He can dial some stuff up at the right time, create some things at the right time, and then on top of that, everybody is doing their job. It's not just me just go out there and get open kind of play. I'm sure you guys like to think that, but there's a lot of madness to it, and there's a lot of guys doing their job for the big picture, and I'm fortunate that I'm playing here for sure.
Missouri Southern Lions are off to a hot start to the baseball season. Last week, Southern went 4-0 on opening weekend, playing all 4 games at home. Last night, the Lions on the road for the first time, facing Henderson State. That one is over. Missouri Southern holds on to win a good one 4-3. Will Doherty goes 1 for 3 with a double and a pair of RBIs. This week is rivalry week for Pitt State and Missouri Southern basketball. 2 teams meet Saturday in Pittsburgh in their second matchup of the season. On the women's side, Pitt won the last meeting 87-79 in early January. In that meeting, Gorillas kind of shot the lights out, going 50% from the field and 55% from 3. So defense is key for Southern, but also rebounding in that last meeting. Pitt State out-rebounded the Lions 40-27.
It's going to be a huge factor. We got to, keep them off the offensive boards for sure, and then we got to get some second opportunities, which we didn't do, and they did a great job of keeping us off the boards. And then the transition defense is always going to be big because they love to push the ball. They're averaging almost 80 points a game. You don't average 80 points a game walking the ball up and down the floor, so transition defense is going to be huge as well.
The rivalry games, I think, are always the funnest, and especially on the road at Pitt, they have such a good support system that just going over there and playing is so much fun just because their atmosphere is so exciting.
Still to come, with the death toll now reaching 20,000 people dead from a devastating earthquake, the U.S. State Department confirms that 3 Americans are among the dead. And we're going to take another look. All right, taking a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, you can see some light snow across parts of southeast Kansas and easing into southwest Missouri, even some light flurries, of course, that the radar isn't detecting out there. The good news is this shouldn't really add up to much, and as we take a look at Joplin at the MoDOT camera 32nd in range line, nothing really sticking. But in some of the areas where the snow is a pinch heavier, could lead to some slick spots on the roadway, so give yourself time to get where you're going. Sitting at 35 in Joplin, feeling like 28 with a north breeze at about 9. It is considerably colder this morning. morning than what we were yesterday. We're 29 in Iola, 33 Chanute Parsons, 36 Miami Chitopa, 35 in Neosho Carthage, and 34 Lamar and Nevada. As we start our day, we'll have that light snow, maybe some flurries persisting through about 10 o'clock, and that should start to let up at about that point. And then we'll just be mostly cloudy and a bit colder than what we were yesterday. We're looking at highs pushing into the upper 30s to lower 40s, about 41 in Joplin, and again, mostly cloudy as we go through the day. And we are mostly cloudy to start our evening. However, as the evening progresses, those clouds will begin to clear out a little bit. We're going to drop back to a low of about 28. So even though it's colder, we're about average. Our high, though, is just a pinch below what our average should be. Nothing going on as we head through the weekend and from Saturday into Sunday. However, Sunday, some increasing clouds out there. Then we'll start to clear out briefly. And then it's late Monday night, around 11 o'clock or so, and early Tuesday morning, we start to see another system roll in. Now, this one should just be rain. It's going to bring rain, maybe a few rumbles of thunder, and it will persist through the majority of the day Tuesday. It was 7 a.m. Tuesday. This is 7 p.m. Tuesday, and rain holding on to the area. Now, once that exits, take a look off to the northwest. That is our next weather maker that's going to be coming in here as we head to the middle of next week. So we start to warm up. 47 tomorrow, 53 by Sunday. Look at this, too. Mid-50s to about 60 by Wednesday. And then Wednesday's when that system out west begins to make its way toward us. Temperatures will drop. We could see a light wintry mix late, transitioning into Thursday morning. And by Thursday, we only make it to 38 degrees. So some colder weather on the way again. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles are gearing up for Super Bowl 57 this coming Sunday. One veteran member of the Chiefs is already in the Hall of Fame, and he's still out there for every game. It's the mascot, KC Wolf. Reporter Lindsay Shively was with the man behind the fur as he packed up for Arizona.
They're blue vinyl.
He's got a wardrobe. This is definitely not your typical garage.
KC Wolf has probably got a better wardrobe than I've got. I'll show you.
With KC Wolf's hundreds of appearances a year, it's easier if Dan Mears brings some work home with him.
My Zubas. Got the Andy Reid Hawaiian shirt.
And this is just a sample of what's stored at Arrowhead.
This is the KC Wolf locker room.
Ooh. I got a tour in 2019, but I just caught up with Dan, busy packing for the Super Bowl again with a newly sewn Super Bowl 57 patch.
Here's my favorite jersey, though. This is the one I've worn to the past 2 Super Bowls.
What does it take to get KC Wolf ready for the Super Bowl?
Well, the first thing I do is I get this great big black bag here, right there. This is what he travels in. This one right here has never even been sweated yet. You know, it's kind of feel like it's my first day at school. You know, you get new clothes. You just kind of grab him by the nose, pull him down here.
There you go.
Just kind of zip him up. And he's a lot quieter than my kids when they travel.
Yeah, imagine checking this bag.
So always the question is, what's in there?
He'll take at least 2 wolves with him, from wolf head down to wolf shoes.
I found my replacement.
Not quite. These are some seriously big shoes to fill.
I'm so happy.
There you go. It's not happiness that makes you grateful. It's gratefulness that makes you happy.
The man behind KC Wolf for 33 years now earned a Lifetime Achievement Award at an NFL Mascot Summit. Now that award named after him. And after a scary fall left him injured in 2013.
I did a little bungee jump that didn't go very well, and I fell about 70-ish feet.
He wrote a book called Wolves Can't Fly, donating the proceeds to charities helping kids here and around the world. He travels all over to speak, and he wrote another book called Mascot on a Mission.
God didn't put us on earth to make a living. He put us here to make an impact. And so that's my goal. Just go out and try to make a positive impact in this world.
And he doesn't take for granted that KC Wolf gets to go back to the Super Bowl too.
I think it's more excitement than nervous.
Wolf-sized bling and all.
Now let's go get another one. Woo!
Now, KC Wolf makes about 600 appearances a year. Dan can't do all of that himself, so he has backup wolves who help him out. That brings us to our question for you this morning. What's your favorite professional four-state sports mascot? Is it KC Wolf, Blue the dog, Rumble the bison, Fredbird, Louie, Sledge, We want to hear from you. Make sure you vote through our website at KOAMnewsnow.com, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We will be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, being a coffee lover might help you maintain low blood pressure. Scientists in Italy studied more than 1,500 men and women. They compared how often the participants drank coffee, their blood pressure levels, and other medical information. The scientists found that people who drink at least 2 cups of coffee daily have lower blood pressure compared to those who don't drink as much. And people with updated COVID-19 booster vaccinations are much less likely to die from the disease. According to the Centers for Disease Control, the bivalent vaccine formulated to work against the Omicron variant makes recipients 14 times less likely to die than unvaccinated people. The improvement is even more profound among seniors. However, the shot is not nearly as good at preventing infection. People who got the original vaccine are 2.5 times less likely to get sick than unvaccinated people. The bivalent booster improves that to just 2.8 times less likely. That protection also appears to be short-lived. The bivalent booster has been shown to protect people 2 months after it is administered, but that protection appears to start waning by the 3rd month. The COVID shot is now on the list of regularly scheduled routine vaccinations for children, teens, and adults, according to the CDC. The new recommendations were published Thursday in the CDC's Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report. Along with the COVID shot, key changes to the schedule include updated guidance on vaccines for the flu, MMR, and hepatitis B. However, this does not mean that schools will require vaccination to enroll. Those vaccine requirements are still being determined by state or local jurisdictions and not by the CDC. That's a look at today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we are watching some light snow across the region. Thankfully, it's not really sticking in a lot of locations. We'll take a complete look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, students at local schools get excited for the Super Bowl as they dress up to cheer on their favorite team.
Clear roads out there on the MoDOT camera at 32nd and Range Line, but there is some light snow in the area. We'll take a look at the radar and tell you how chilly it's going to be today coming up.
Also, although it's Chief Kingdom here.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Cale Chapman.
I'm Chris Warner. So 5:30 a.m., a little bit of light snow going on out there.
Yeah.
It's all right, though. It's not really sticking, and that's the good news, is this particular snow that we're seeing isn't really going to add up to a lot. And
that's
so
okay
the worst it could do is make some slick spots out there, but that still could be troubling. So do give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. As we take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, it's looking all right. You can see where the light snow is. We've talked about how it can't really pick up on the flurries because I did encounter flurries around the Joplin area this morning, but again, not a lot going on. Taking a look at the MoDOT camera, 32nd and Range Line, we're looking good right there. And not bad from 7th and Range Line, but cold, 35, feels like 28 with a north breeze at 9 in Joplin. And some chilly temperatures across the area too. 30 in Iola, 32 Fort Scott, 36 Miami, 35 Neosho and Carthage, and 34 in Lamar this morning. As we go through our morning, that light snow, maybe some flurries persisting through about 10 a.m. and that'll start to clear out. We're left with mostly cloudy skies and pretty chilly conditions. We're on our way for highs in the upper 30s to about 41 degrees, mostly cloudy through the rest of our afternoon. As we head into this evening, though, those clouds will begin to clear as we head into the overnight, and we'll drop back down ultimately to a cold but seasonable low of 28 degrees. We are watching some rain chances as we're heading into next week, and we'll take a full look at that forecast here in just a few minutes.
Well, there you go. Yeah, sounds fairly mild out there.
Not bad, not bad. And we are warming up through the weekend before the rain comes in and starts to make us a little colder again.
Well, that's good. I mean, at least none of that's going to freeze out there then.
Not yet. Not yet.
Well, good to know. Thank you, Chris. A pet food factory in Miami, Oklahoma will soon have a new owner. Nestle Purina Pet Care announced plans to buy Red Collar Pet Foods in Miami. Purina has worked with the Red Collar team since 2022 to co-manufacture several pet treats under its Purina and Zooks brands. Red Collar says the sale underscores the quality of the Miami operations and their team. The Miami factory will be the 22nd Purina-owned and operated facility nationwide. Purina is also voluntarily recalling some of its prescription dog food because of its potentially elevated levels of vitamin D. The recall includes the Pro Plan Veterinary Diet's EL Elemental prescription dry dog food. Purina received 2 reports of dogs with signs of vitamin D toxicity after eating the food. Once they stopped, the dogs recovered. While vitamin D is an essential nutrient for dogs, if they ingest too much, it can cause vomiting, loss of appetite, increased thirst, increased urination, and kidney dysfunction. A Southeast Kansas organization is making a fundraiser look as easy as pie. The Masonic Lodge in Chanute sold chili and pie to raise money for a fund that community members can use to help pay for utilities and rent. In total, they sold 435 pies in 229 chili orders.
So being a minister in the community just pays back for the community and stuff. So, and that's Christ's mission is to pay back.
The Masonic Lodge has been raising money for this fund for over 40 years. Employers in Ottawa County came together to host a job fair. Organizers say a recent meeting stressed the need to connect people looking for a job with local employers. So they gathered businesses from a variety of industries, hiring a variety of positions for the job fair.
We also have been hearing from people who say, I need a job. So somewhere in between there's been a disconnect. And so hopefully through an event like this today, we can put those people that have jobs together with those who need jobs and make some good positive connections today and get people back to work in Miami.
There were also hiring incentives and drawings for prizes at the fair. Super Bowl excitement builds for students at one area school. Students in McDonald County, Missouri are ready for Sunday as they show off their Chiefs spirit. Yesterday was Touchdown Thursday in the district. Students were encouraged to wear their favorite Chiefs shirt.
Excited. I enjoy sharing my enthusiasm about the Chiefs with all the kids and letting them show their school spirit and supporting them too.
Today, McDonald County students will celebrate Fired Up Friday. This may be Chiefs Kingdom, but there are still some Eagles fans in the 4 states. KOAM's Shagun Bomadelli spoke with a Philadelphia native who's been living behind enemy lines in Joplin.
Greg Ocho, a man born and raised in Philadelphia, is confident that his childhood team, the Eagles, will win the Super Bowl on Sunday.
I may live here now, but I'm from Philly. I've always rooted for my home team, whether it be the Eagles, the Phillies, the Flyers, anybody.
Greg says although he is in enemy territory, the people of Missouri has been kind to him.
There's very few Eagles fans around here. There's some more came out of the woodwork since they're in the Super Bowl, but not too many. I live in Missouri. I like the Chiefs. They have a good coach and they have a good team, but I have to go with my home team.
The military brought Greg to Missouri.
Right here. Uncle Sam brought me down here. I was in the military and moved to North Carolina, from North Carolina to Texas to Arkansas, and then I met this young lady right here, and she lived up here, so we moved up here.
Despite he is in enemy territory, Greg says he will continue to root for his home team.
I root for my home team. I am not one of those fly by the seat of your pants people who, wherever I live, I root for. I stick with my home team. I was born and raised in Philadelphia. I went to school in Philadelphia, so that's who I root for.
Reporting in Joplin, Shagun Bomadelli, KOAM News.
The Eagles will win the Super Bowl by a score of 24-14. We'll see if Greg is right.
And we will.
And this morning we are discussing team mascots.
Yeah, this is definitely not your typical garage. You see, with KC Wolf's hundreds of appearances a year, it's easier if Dan Mears brings some work home with him. And this is just a sample of what's stored at Arrowhead.
He'll take at least 2 wolves down with him, from Wolf Head down to Wolf Shoes. The man behind KC Wolf for 33 years now earned a Lifetime Achievement Award at an NFL Mascot Summit. Now that award is named after him and after a scary fall left him injured in 2013.
He wrote a book called Wolves Can't Fly, donating the proceeds to charities helping kids here and around the world. He travels all over to speak, and he wrote another book called Mascot on a Mission. And that brings us to our question for you. What's your favorite professional four-state mascot? You've got several choices, and of course right now the overwhelming selection is KC Wolf at 76%. 12% of you like Louie, 12% of you like Sludge. So don't forget to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
There you go. Not a bad spread.
Not at all.
Not at all. All righty. Well, that's our look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, why a study about giraffes may be vital to helping save the species.
Plus, an earthquake in Indonesia kills at least 4 people. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch today, a deadly explosion in a Ukrainian industrial zone on Thursday. At least 4 people are dead and at least 5 others are injured after the blast went off at the former factory in Kyiv. About 10 people were believed to have been in the building at the time of the explosion. Unconfirmed reports say a gas canister may have blown up, causing the incident. Authorities are currently investigating. An earthquake shook Indonesia's easternmost province on Thursday, killing at least 4 people. The U.S. Geological Survey said the 5.1 magnitude earthquake hit a residential area near Papua's northern coast. The people who died were unable to escape when a floating restaurant collapsed into the sea. Officials say the bodies of the 4 victims have been recovered and divers are searching for others. Indonesia is frequently hit by earthquakes and volcanic eruptions because of its location on the Ring of Fire, which is an arc of seismic faults around the Pacific Basin. Indonesia's meteorology agency says it has recorded over 1,000 earthquakes in Jayapura and nearby regions since January 2nd. 4 days after powerful earthquakes and aftershocks struck Turkey and Syria, the death toll has climbed to more than 20,000 people, and that number is expected to rise. The State Department confirms that at least 3 Americans are among the dead. Rescue workers are continuing to sift through the rubble and pull some survivors to safety, but hope for many others is starting to wane. Jared Hill has more.
New satellite images give a bird's eye view of the destruction from the deadly Turkey-Syria earthquakes. On the ground, rescue workers from around the world, including the U.S., continue the search for survivors. In Gaziantep, Turkey, shouts of joy after this 17-year-old, Adnan, was pulled from the rubble today. There was a brief pause for a relieved mother's embrace before he was placed in the ambulance. Adnan later told a reporter he drank his own urine to survive 94 hours under the rubble. Further west in Antakya, a 10-year-old girl was rescued after workers spent 32 hours clearing a path to get to her. From Syria, new video has emerged with a close-up view of 2 little girls who were freed up from the rubble on Wednesday. But not every family has been so lucky, with many in mourning and preparing for the worst.
We hope we can find people which is still alive. Every hour is for us so hard.
Thursday, the U.S. State Department announced it will give $85 million to humanitarian relief efforts. Concerned Americans coast to coast have launched donation drives like this one at a Virginia coffee shop.
They need very warm clothes and also other basic items to survive this winter condition.
With many survivors now forced to camp in the bitter cold, the World Health Organization says the aftermath could prove more deadly than the earthquakes. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Food trucks and other humanitarian aid has started to arrive in Syria, but the director of the World Food Program in that country says that the ongoing civil war there has made it difficult to provide assistance in some regions. Now let's look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've still got some light snow out there on the Skywatch storm tracker, some flurries as well, but flurries don't show up as well on radar. The good news is this shouldn't really stick to much, maybe a dusting on some grassy surfaces, but could lead to some slick spots on area roadways. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line, as you can see in Joplin at least. Anything we're getting is light enough that it's not sticking to anything out there. And we are pretty chilly too, 35 in Joplin, feels like 28 with a north breeze at about 9 miles an hour, and it's another cold one for us. But again, these temperatures, believe it or not, are a little closer to seasonable, especially Iola at 29, 32 Pittsburgh, 36 Miami, 35 Neosho and Carthage this morning. As we start our morning, we're looking at that light snow transitioning to some flurries, and it should clear out of here by about 10 o'clock, and that'll leave us with just mostly cloudy skies as we head into the afternoon hours. And we'll hold on to those mostly cloudy skies and cool conditions throughout the rest of our afternoon. Looking at highs in the upper 30s to near about 41 in Joplin today. As we head into this evening, the clouds will eventually begin to clear out a little bit. We're down to 30 by 10, and we're looking at an overnight low of about 28 degrees. As we take a look ahead, we start to warm up, which is good. We're sunny tomorrow, breezy Wednesday. This is the third time I've called Sunday Wednesday, probably because it's windy. 47, 53, into the 50s to almost 60 degrees by Wednesday. Light showers start Monday night, turned into an all-day rain event for us on Tuesday. So your Valentine's Day plans, need to move them indoors because it's going to be a little bit on the wet side out there. Again, up to 61 to start our Wednesday. Temperatures begin to fall. We'll see a wintry mix late. Could carry into Thursday morning, only 38 by Thursday, 38 on Friday. Now, the good news is we clear out of precipitation heading into the end of next week, but temperatures briefly cool before they start to warm up heading toward next Sunday. And then take a look at Thursday night, down to 18 degrees. So winter's not done with us yet, but eventually we will make it to spring. We'll have more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A pet food factory in Miami, Oklahoma will soon have a new owner. Nestle Purina Healthcare announced plans to buy Red Collar Pet Foods in Miami. Purina has worked with Red Collar since 2022 to co-manufacture several pet treats under its Purina and Zooks brands. Red Collar says the sale underscores the quality of the Miami operations and their team. The Miami factory will be the 22nd Purina-owned and operated facility nationwide. Purina is voluntarily recalling some of its prescription dog food because of potentially elevated levels of vitamin D. The recall includes the ProPlan Veterinary Diet's EL Elemental Prescription Dry Dog Food. Purina received 2 reports of dogs with signs of vitamin D toxicity after eating the food. Once they stopped, the dogs recovered. While vitamin D is an essential nutrient for dogs, if they ingest too much, it can cause vomiting, loss of appetite, increased thirst, increased urination, and kidney dysfunction. Super Bowl excitement builds for students at one area school. Students in McDonald County, Missouri are ready for Sunday as they show off their Chiefs spirit. Yesterday was Touchdown Thursday in the district. Students were encouraged to wear their favorite Chiefs shirt. Today, McDonald County students will celebrate Fired Up Friday. Kansas City Chiefs fans everywhere in the 4 states, but we can't forget about Philadelphia Eagles fans. In a sea of red, one Joplin teacher is cheering for a different team. Tim Gubera grew up in Joplin and is, yes, you guessed it, a Philadelphia Eagles fan. He knows he is in Chiefs territory and shows his team spirit secretly. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. We'll be right back after this break. Giraffes may be your favorite animal when you go to visit the zoo, but did you know there's only about 100,000 of them left in the wild? We'll meet some UC Davis professors doing some research that may help save the species. Tony Lopez has more.
They are certainly animals to look up to. In fact, giraffes are some of the most majestic animals to observe, whether it's at the zoo or in the wild.
So many people love giraffe, and there isn't that much known about them.
Now, UC Davis professors Lynette and Benjamin Hart are the authors of new research revealing some surprising details.
We were seeing specific examples of unusual behaviors that they showed.
And this is no tall tale. The couple's been married for 40 years and studied giraffe behavior in the African country of Namibia, documenting behavior never before seen by researchers in the wild.
So he watched them very carefully. You got to use a spotting scope actually to see it.
One new discovery is that a male giraffe can actually voice a loud warning sound.
And we actually heard that kind of bellowing growl call. That was stunning because giraffe had been thought to be mute for a while.
But the most surprising observation is the unusual ritual a bull giraffe goes through to find a suitable female mate.
He goes up to them and he kind of bumps their rear end and maybe sniffs them a bit. And he's saying, "It's time for you to urinate so I can test your urine."
The male has special receptors in his mouth that can sense when the time is right.
So he's got to be testing these females all the time.
Performing a kind of pre-pregnancy pee test to find the right match.
And he's asking, is she going to be coming into heat soon? And he'll be able to detect that from analyzing that urine.
And with fewer than 100,000 left in the wild, they say this type of research is important to help preserve and protect the vulnerable species.
The numbers are going down.
We'll be right back with another look at the forecast after this.
All right, as we go through our morning, any light snow and flurries should be out of here by about 10 o'clock. We are cold and will remain pretty chilly through today. Mostly cloudy skies. We'll have mostly cloudy skies persisting through the afternoon. We're looking at highs pushing the upper 30s to about 41 in Joplin. Clouds will begin to clear as we head into our evening, though, which is somewhat good news, right? Down to 30 by 10. We're heading for a low of 28 degrees. We'll have more of the KOAM morning news right after this.
Right now at 6, judgment and sentencing for a Sikeston, Missouri man accused of a 2019 robbery and eluding law enforcement.
There's still a little bit of light snow, maybe even some flurries out there, but that will start to clear out. We'll tell you when that's going to get out of here and what temperatures look like today coming up.
Also, College Heights Christian School in Joplin goes on lockdown during a police manhunt.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Cale Chapman.
I'm Chris Warner. It is just after 6 o'clock
Sure
on
is.
a finally Friday here in the 4 states. How exciting is that?
It is. You got to get pumped. It's Red Friday. It's a great day to be in the 4 states.
It is a wonderful day to be in the 4 states. And right now, 32nd and range line, the MoDOT camera there. We showed you some of that light snow on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. As you can see, nothing really sticking to the roads. Where it was actually showing up, there could be a few slick spots, so just watch out for that. We're at 35 in Joplin, feeling like 29 with a north breeze at 7 miles an hour. And across the area, it's a cold start for us, but closer to seasonal. Believe it or not, most of us are actually still above the average low for right now. We're at 29 in Iola, 28 Yates Center, so they're about right on par, but everybody else a bit above. 32 Pittsburgh, 36 Miami, 35 Neosho and Carthage, and look at that, 37 Grove and Anderson as we start this morning. Going through your morning, we'll see that light snow and those flurries kicking on out of here by about 10 o'clock. That's going to leave us with mostly cloudy skies and pretty chilly conditions out there. We'll make it up into the upper 30s to about 41 in Joplin, and we'll hold on to those mostly cloudy skies through our afternoon. Heading into the evening, though, skies will slowly start to clear. We're down to 30 by 10 o'clock with an overnight low of 28 degrees. And as we look ahead, some better news briefly on the horizon, but the thing is on the 7-day, you can see where that good news ends there on Thursday. So we're going to make it back through the 50s, warming through the weekend. We got late showers Monday, and I mean very late showers. It'll transition into an all-day rain event Tuesday, maybe even a rumble of thunder or two. 55. We're up to 61 Wednesday, and then temperatures will begin to fall, and we could see a wintry mix late Wednesday into Thursday morning, down to only 38. And we look beyond that, well, we're chilly again on Friday, only 38. But as we head into next weekend, although we will be mostly cloudy, we're going to start to warm back up again. We're looking at 54 by Sunday, but check out Thursday night, 18 degrees.
Yeah, it's like the big drop on a roller coaster.
Yeah, and it's a good night to stay indoors.
Oh, for sure.
But also remember, even though we are still in winter, we're still in February, we are getting that much closer to spring every day.
Inch by inch.
Slowly but surely, we'll make it.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you, Chris. And a Sikeston, Missouri man has learned his fate for a 2019 robbery. A Cherokee County court sentenced Joseph Ships to 7 years in prison. Ships was found guilty by a jury of robbery, attempting to elude law enforcement, and driving while suspended. Evidence showed Ships forced a man from his vehicle during a traffic stop back in December of 2019 and fled in it. When the vehicle entered Oklahoma, OHP performed a tactical vehicle intervention maneuver to stop Ships. Ships is being held in the Cherokee County Jail pending transfer from the Kansas Department of Corrections. A Joplin school went into lockdown Thursday morning as police searched for a theft suspect. Around 7 a.m., authorities in Webb City were chasing a stolen vehicle. That chase led into Joplin at the intersection of Zora and 249, where the suspect left and ran. Authorities then received an alert of a suspicious person at College Heights Christian School. The school was put on lockdown and searched, but the suspect was not found. A big announcement from Pitt State on Thursday afternoon, a $50 million project that will expand the university's footprint in the Block 22 neighborhood. The school says the keystone for the district will be a new building for the Kels College of Business at 5th and Broadway on the property currently leased by the BMO Harris Bank. The project also includes the redevelopment of the historic Best Hotel, the tallest building in southeast Kansas. In addition, the university will partner with the Colonial Fox Theater to share space in a 2-story pavilion already planned by the theater to be built on the empty lot owned by the Fox.
We'll be able to have living learning communities where students will be able to live essentially right around the corner from their classrooms. That will allow us to do all kinds of different experiential sort of projects with the businesses that are around us, co-ops, internships, just all kinds of things.
$50 million cost, the Pittsburgh State University Foundation already has $7 million in hand contributed by donors for the Kels College of Business portion. The university also learned this week that it's getting a $12.5 million grant from the Kansas Department of Commerce. Private-public partnerships will be sought to shore up the gap. Construction is slated to start in 2024 with classes beginning in 2026. McDonald County Food Service students are gearing up for an upcoming banquet. On Thursday, they served Disney-themed sample meals to school librarians who chose which ones would be served at the banquet. The event is a Gateway Readers Award luncheon and will feature a popular guest author. It's usually catered by outside companies, but this year the librarians wanted to give food service students a chance to get some experience.
It feels like an amazing opportunity to be on. I thought, like, if I'm going to be cooking, I'm just going to keep cooking for myself, my teacher, and my classmates, things like that. But cooking for other people, for them to try my dish, I honestly want to know their own ratings on it. So if there's anything like they want me to correct on it or anything they need me to add to it or take it away, I'm always be able to. It'll be a great pleasure to listen to other people.
The luncheon banquet will be in March. A Southeast Kansas organization is making a fundraiser look as easy as pie. The Masonic Lodge in Chanute sold chili and pie to raise money for a fund that community members can use to help pay for utilities and rent. In total, they sold 435 pies and 229 chili orders.
So being a minister in the community just pays back for the community and stuff. So, and that's Christ's mission is to pay back.
The Masonic Lodge has been raising money for this fund for more than 40 years. Super Bowl excitement builds for students at one area school. Students in McDonald County, Missouri are ready for Sunday as they show off their Chiefs spirit. Yesterday was Touchdown Thursday in the district. Students were encouraged to wear their favorite Chiefs shirt.
Excited. I enjoy sharing my enthusiasm about the Chiefs with all the kids and letting them show their school spirit and supporting them too.
To be creative with my Chiefs.
Today, McDonald County students will celebrate Fired Up Friday. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. That's a look at this morning's top stories in weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the FBI sorts through the wreckage of the downed Chinese spy balloon, while the House, in a rare act of bipartisanship, votes unanimously to condemn what it calls a brazen violation. Plus, a new study shows that common antibiotics could help prevent the risk associated with post-childbirth death for certain women. And we've got cold and chances of snow for your Friday forecast. Chris has all those details of what you can expect and what you can expect headed into the weekend. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, the House voted unanimously yesterday to condemn what it called China's brazen violation of the United States sovereignty, as the search for debris continues off the coast of South Carolina. Officials say these balloons are part of a worldwide spying effort by China. Jared Hill has more.
As the FBI sifts through parts of the Chinese balloon recovered after it was shot down last weekend, new revelations about its potential for spying.
This irresponsible act put on full display what we've long recognized, that the PRC has become more repressive at home and more aggressive abroad.
The State Department says the balloon is part of a major surveillance program that's been used to spy on at least 40 countries. In a new interview with Noticias Telemundo, President Biden maintained the balloon did not represent a serious security issue.
It's not a major breach. I mean, look, it's a violation of international law. It's our airspace. And once it comes in our space, we can do what we want with it.
On Capitol Hill,
I am so angry.
Lawmakers grilled the Biden administration on its response.
Do we know what the Chinese Communist government was looking for?
Senator, we are learning more as we exploit the contents of the balloon and the payload itself.
That so-called payload, the crucial surveillance equipment, is still on the ocean floor off the coast of South Carolina. Rough seas are slowing down the recovery. Among the things investigators will be looking at, whether the Chinese balloon used any American-made technology. Just the possibility has the White House looking into stronger export controls to prevent U.S. tech from getting into the hands of the Chinese military. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Defense officials were also grilled on why the balloon wasn't taken down sooner in waters over Alaska. They insist since the recovery of the balloon was crucial in order to learn its capabilities, the icy and much deeper waters off the Alaskan coast would have made finding and retrieving the balloon much harder and more dangerous. That's a look at today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got some light snow across the area, some flurries out there as well. Not really adding up to too much, but could lead to a few slick spots out there, so be careful this morning. We are looking in Joplin at the MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line. You can see any flurry activity we've seen in Joplin is not sticking to anything out there, but it is bitterly cold. We're going to tell you how cold it's going to be today, when we can expect a warm up, and about some rain chances next week when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6:15, now officially 6:16. Let's go with some weather trivia. So, which of these scales measures the intensity of tornadoes? Is it the Douglas, the Saffir-Simpson, the Fujita, or the Beaufort scale? We'll find out the answer in just a moment. But first, a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. You can see light scattered snow out there, some flurries. This is really breaking up because about an hour ago, there was a little bit more organized light snow in parts of southeast Kansas. This is slowly on its way out of here. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line. The roads in Joplin are clear, but where we've seen a little more light snow, there could be some slick spots out there, so just watch out. We're at 35 in Joplin. Feel like 29 with cloudy skies with a north breeze at about 7 miles an hour. Across the region, colder to the north, as is, the usual situation. 29 Iola, 28 in Yates Center, 32 Chanute, Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, 36 Miami, 35 Neosho and Carthage as we start our Friday. Now, as we start our day, we're looking all right. We'll get this light snow and flurry activity out of here by about 10 o'clock. We're cold, though, in the 30s. After the snow stuff clears out, we're left with mostly cloudy skies, and it will remain mostly cloudy through the majority of our afternoon as we go through today. We're looking at highs in the upper 30s to about 41 in Joplin. And then this evening, these clouds will eventually begin to clear, and we're going to be down to 30 by 10 o'clock with clear skies and heading for an overnight low of 28 degrees. We got some changes on the way. So now the next couple of days, we're going to be pretty decent. We'll have some passing clouds by the time we get to Sunday, maybe a little bit on the breezy side, but as you see Saturday, clear skies, a beautiful day. A little cool, but beautiful. Here's those passing clouds by Sunday. Then we head into Monday, late Monday night. Here comes a system, and it's going to bring us some rain, maybe a rumble of thunder or two, and it will persist through most of our Tuesday. So here's 7 a.m. Tuesday, rain across the region, again, maybe a rumble of thunder or two. 7 p.m. Tuesday, it's starting to exit, but still a fair amount of rain activity left behind. Now, once that kicks out of here, take a look off to our west. This is our next system that's going to be coming in right behind that one, and that's going to bring us a chance of some wintry precipitation. We're moving through this a little faster than I anticipated, so I'm going to slow down. So, which of these scales measures the intensity of tornadoes? Was it the Douglas, the Saffir-Simpson, the Fujita, or the Beaufort? Well, if you happen to pick C, the Fujita scale, you would be correct. It's now known, of course, as the Enhanced Fujita scale. The name comes from Ted Fujita, the man who came up with it in collaboration with Alan Pearson. The Saffir-Simpson and Beaufort scales deal with wind, and of course Saffir-Simpson deals with hurricanes, and the Douglas scale deals with waves out on the ocean. All right, we don't have to deal with any waves, and while we have had an occasional tropical depression make it our way, we don't have to deal with hurricanes, which is good news. Here's what we're looking at as we head through the next several days. We start warming up. We're 47 tomorrow, 53 by Sunday, mid-50s Monday and Tuesday, about 60 by next Wednesday. And that's ahead of that system I showed you on the long range. We got the late showers Monday, rain all day Tuesday, so plan your Valentine's Day events to be indoors. Unless, as Tanya mentioned yesterday, if you enjoy singing in the rain, then that's a great day to do it. Otherwise, be prepared to be indoors. We're okay for the majority of Wednesday. It's not until late Wednesday that we'll see this system move in. Temperatures will start to drop down to 31, only 38 Thursday, that wintry mix clearing out in the morning. And then we're still a little chilly as we head into Friday, mostly cloudy, 38. By the way, down to 18 Thursday night, so it's going to be a cold one. However, after we get through that, we start to warm up heading into next weekend. We're up to 47 on Saturday and 54 by Sunday with mostly cloudy skies. So all in all, not a bad February forecast. And as we've been talking about, remember, we're getting that much closer to spring in the area. We've got a lot more of the KOAM morning news right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, smoking is known to inflame and irritate the lungs, and a new study finds that it may also increase the risk of severe COVID-19 illness among otherwise healthy young people. Researchers at UCLA tracked more than 100 young people and found levels of certain proteins that help the virus replicate. Those replicating proteins were higher in those who smoked tobacco or vape compared to non-smokers. A common antibiotic could dramatically reduce the risk of death after childbirth for women in low and middle income countries. A study in the New England Journal of Medicine finds a single oral dose of azithromycin during labor lowers the risk of postpartum sepsis or mortality by 30%. Researchers say pregnancy-related infections account for 10% of maternal deaths worldwide. And a Canadian study shows that high levels of physical activity are not enough to offset the obesity risk for kids who have too much screen time. Researchers say adolescents should limit screen time to less than 4 hours per day and at least 12,000 steps to take the lower risk of obesity. A new Consumer Reports investigation finds that there may be more mercury in canned tuna than you realize. It's important to note that those mercury levels are within FDA standards, which currently say pregnant people can eat canned tuna. And in small quantities, Bradley Blackburn has more on why limiting exposure to mercury is important.
Eating fish has many health benefits, but fish can also contain mercury, which in high amounts can be harmful. Possible health risks from mercury include impaired brain function, loss of smell, and developmental delays in children.
If you have a high mercury level while the brain is developing in a fetus, there can be cognitive issues later in life. So we're very cautious in a developing brain. So that is young children and pregnant women especially need to keep mercury away from those neurons that are developing.
CBS News medical contributor Dr. David Agus says certain fish have more mercury.
It's the larger fish and the deeper fish where you get the mercury. Swordfish, tuna, and other big, deep fish have higher levels of mercury. Very little mercury, for example, in salmon and trout and other smaller fish that are at the surface.
So for typical adults, it's best not to eat those fish too often.
You can have 1 to 3 servings a week of tuna, and as an adult, it would be very safe.
Dr. Agus says moderation is key. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
It's estimated that about 8% of pregnant women in the U.S. have a mercury level that may affect the brain development of their child. Now that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we are still watching some light snow, even some flurries out there, parts of southeast Kansas and then in southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas. The good news is a lot of this not sticking, and any that does may lead to just a few slick spots on the roadways, so do be cautious this morning. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line, nothing sticking in Joplin. Roads are clear, and we are currently pretty cold too. 35 is where we're at, feels like 29 with a wind out of the north at about 7 miles an hour. And we have a wintry start for us across the region. 29 in Iola is the cool spot there, as well as Independence. 34 Chetopa, 36 Miami and Neosho, 35 in Carthage, and 34 as we start our day in Lamar. As we go through the rest of our morning, we got the light snow, the flurries. Those will be out of here by about 10 o'clock. We stay cold. Then we're left with just mostly cloudy skies and pretty chilly conditions. We're looking at highs pushing into the upper 30s to about 41 in Joplin. Mostly cloudy skies, though, throughout our day. And as we head into this evening, and we'll start to see the clouds clear out. We'll have mostly clear skies by 10, down to 30, with an overnight low tonight of about 28 degrees. As mentioned, we are actually remaining pretty decent through the weekend. We'll have a nice warm-up. We'll be a little bit on the windy side as we head into Sunday, and then it's late Monday into Tuesday that we're going to see our next system bring rain to the area, and quite a bit of it as well. So again, with the winds heading into Sunday, they start Sunday morning, start gusting 20, 25 miles an hour. By the afternoon, they're gusting upwards of 35 miles an hour, and they'll stay a bit breezy as we head into Sunday night before the winds do eventually calm down heading into Monday. So up to 47 tomorrow, 53 on Sunday with the gusty winds. Late showers Monday, 55 Valentine's Day, but rain all day, maybe even a rumble of thunder or two, so plan activities indoors. We're up to 61 Wednesday. Then we have a wintry mix coming in as temperatures drop. That'll last from Wednesday night into Thursday morning. We'll make it up to 38 by Thursday, so a little bit colder. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6:30, a bus ride turns into a scary situation for some Carthage school kids.
Still got some light snow and some flurries across the region this morning. We'll tell you when these are on their way out and how temperatures are faring today coming up.
Also, sports' biggest competition kicks off this weekend, but one area coach wants to remind people of the importance of good sportsmanship.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30 and I'm Cale Chapman.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's a little bit on the chilly side out there, seeing a little bit of light snow across the region. Did you see any flurries on your way in?
I did not.
See, I was behind a truck this morning and I wasn't sure if it was throwing up rocks or if it was flurries. It was, when I turned on the side road, I could tell it was definitely flurries at that point.
Yeah.
Unless there were just rocks flying out of the sky. I mean,
that happens every once in a while.
That would be like a volcanic eruption, I think, is what would lead to that. Thankfully, no volcanic eruptions in the area as we look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. I don't think we're in danger of that anytime soon. But we are still watching a few light snow showers, even some flurries out there. Shouldn't really stick to much, but could cause some slick spots on the roadway, so do be aware of that. MoDOT camera looking at 32nd in range line, looking pretty good. Roads are clear in Joplin, so anything we've been seeing is not stuck to anything out there. 35 feels like 29 with a north breeze at 7 miles an hour. And again, cold start for us this morning. We've got 29 Iola, 38 Center, Neodesha, 31 Parsons, 36 Miami, Neosho. We're at 34 in Lamar as we start our finally Friday in the 4 states. And as you plan your day, see that light snow? Turning some flurries. It'll eventually exit out of here by about 10 o'clock this morning. After that, we're going to be left cloudy and cold, and we'll stay that way through the afternoon. And we should see highs push into the upper 30s to about 41 in Joplin. Some of us might be a degree or two warmer than that, so not too bad. Colder than yesterday for sure, but could be worse. As we head into this evening, though, we will see temperatures, of course, fall gradually. We'll also, though, see the skies begin to clear, and we look at clear skies by 10 o'clock. and 30 degrees at that point, down to a low of 28. Now, as we look ahead, there is a warm-up on the horizon. It's short-lived, but it is there. Temperatures starting to creep up through the weekend. 47 tomorrow, 53 on Sunday. Breezy out there, but not bad. Mid-50s Monday and Tuesday. Rain moving in late Wednesday, or late... Why am I obsessed with Wednesday? Late Monday night into Tuesday, so plan your Valentine's Day events indoors as it's going to be kind of rainy all day, maybe a rumble of thunder or two. That'll clear out. Wednesday looks great, 61, and then temperatures begin to drop and we get another system bringing a wintry mix late Wednesday into Thursday morning, and then we don't make it out of the 30s on Thursday. So enjoy this brief taste of spring before winter comes back yet again, because we are still in winter, so I mean,
Yeah,
you got to
very
expect
much
it.
so.
But we're getting closer to spring. Every day on that forecast brings us closer to spring.
Hey, I'm ready for it. Heck yeah.
Oh, me too. I don't like the winter at all. If I could hibernate, I would.
Well, you might have to try it.
I might. We'll find somebody else to fill in the winter here, and I'll just hibernate.
Gotcha. All righty. Well, thank you, Chris. A scary moment for some school kids in Carthage. On Thursday morning, Carthage School District bus transporting students was involved in an accident at Chapel and Fur Road. All students were given the opportunity to be evaluated on scene by medical personnel. A few students did seek additional medical assistance. Parents were notified and arrangements were made to get the students to school. And a Joplin-based company hits the big time with a gig at this year's Super Bowl. Stokes Robotics, based in Joplin, will be featured in this year's Super Bowl as part of a TikTok tailgate party. The robots will join Jason Derulo as he performs his new song, Saturday Sunday. Stokes Robotics will travel to Glendale, Arizona today to prepare for on-site rehearsals. Stokes Robotics provides robotic solutions for customers in multiple industries, such as law enforcement, agriculture, and manufacturing. Ottawa County employers hosted a job fair on Thursday. Organizers say a recent meeting stressed the need to connect people looking for a job with local employers. Businesses from a variety of industries are there and are ready to hire.
We've got a pretty good mix of employees. We have people here that are looking for different forms of nurses. We have people that are looking to fill production type jobs. Forklift operators, things of that nature, lead operators. We have casinos that are represented here today. We also have retail outlets that are here. So we've got a little bit of everything.
There were also hiring incentives and drawings for prizes at the fair. As Super Bowl weekend approaches, bickering between Chiefs and Eagles fans is a common thing on social media. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to a local coach about how good sportsmanship can impact the game.
Fans having passion for their favorite sports team or player drives the team morale. However, having bad sportsmanship can bring your team down when they need you the most.
I think it's respecting the opponents, respecting the work that they put in. And that's a huge piece. Obviously, everyone has their own opinion, and they're right. They have that right.
Sport referees are usually the punching bag for fans, especially during big games. But before you blame another championship game over a ref call, being a referee can change your view of sportsmanship.
Probably one of the best things I ever did as a coach was become an official early in my coaching career for another sport to kind of get a feel for what that's like. It's very tough. It's extremely difficult, and I can tell you every time that I went out, I just wanted to do a good job, do a fair job.
Coach Shorter knows good sportsmanship can turn the tides of a game. That's why Coach makes sure to let his players get another perspective of the game.
And I've had a lot of my kids actually officiate some youth games and things like that, just so they can get a feel of what it's like on that side. I think it gives them a different perspective and an important perspective that we all need at times.
Whether you're a fan or a player, being a good sport is one of the best ways you can rep your team well.
Our kids love the program and they want to be a part of it. They want to be a part of something positive.
Reporting in Carl Junction, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Remember, having a passion for sports does not give you a free ticket to be a bad sport. And this morning we are discussing team mascots.
We are indeed. This is definitely not your typical garage, which you're going to see in a moment. KC Wolf's hundreds of appearances a year. It's easier if Dan Mears, the man behind the Wolf, brings some work home with him. And this is just a sample of what's stored at Arrowhead.
He'll take at least 2 wolves down with him, from Wolf Head down to Wolf Shoes. The man behind KC Wolf for 33 years now recently earned a Lifetime Achievement Award at an NFL Mascot Summit. Now that award is named after him, and after a scary fall left him injured in 2013.
Yeah, he said he was bungee jumping.
Yeah.
It didn't go quite as
fell about
planned.
70 feet.
Yeah. He also wrote a book called Wolves Can't Fly, donating the proceeds to charities, helping kids here and around the world. He travels all over to speak. And he wrote another book called Mascot on a Mission. That brings us to our question to you this morning. What's your favorite professional four-state sports mascot? You got a number of choices there. So far, the overwhelming selection is still KC Wolf at 65%. 21% of you like Louie, 7% of you like Sledge, and 7% of you like Fredbird. So make sure you vote through our website, through our app, take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. Lots of choices there.
Yeah, lots of choices there. I'm missing my slugger, though. I'm a big Royals guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking directly at the producer who wrote the question. Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Where
you gotta get
is
in that
he?
baseball spirit. It's just around the corner. Baseball season's going to start. Spring training's coming.
We're going to have to go and take care of this problem, aren't we?
We are. Well, that's a look at our top stories. Coming up on this half hour of the KOAM Morning News, the countdown has begun not only for the Super Bowl, but for the big three stories of the week. KOAM's Shannon Becker has all that and more when he hits the studio.
And we're going to take another look at that forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Thing about it. I was like, that's what you did in the 90s. I don't know. It's so funny. You know, because everybody now, like, oh, we had 2 kids. We thought we'd get married. Like, what the hell? I don't get it.
Just move in whenever. But
Yeah.
Oh, that's trippy. There's like a never-ending. It's one of the.
Oh, I forgot. Did you guys put those?
It's an infinite loop.
Did you want to do it?
We should do that on air and have an infinite loop. Welcome back. It's time to close out the week with our own Shannon Becker and his big three stories. Welcome back, Shannon.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good to see you. Of course, you'll see him all weekend, too.
I will. I'll be here all weekend, ready to roll here for the Super Bowl.
All right, live breaking news. What happened this week? Let's take a look at the big three. Number 3, this was yesterday. Now, 2 events that a lot of people thought were related, but we found are not related. Webb City Police pursued a stolen vehicle to 249 and Zora. A man fled on foot. They discontinued that search for that man, and then about an hour later, College Heights Christian School went on lockdown. They had a premise alert. Joppa Police said they searched the building twice. No one was ever located. So 2 separate incidents, not related, but it was kind of, a lot of parents were upset yesterday, didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So, number 2 story, Joplin News First, live and breaking news. This was 3rd and Geneva, an intersection, just 4-way stop there right by North Park Mall at JCPenney's. Someone ran a stop sign and clobbered that car, a Jeep Cherokee, into the side of that passenger car. What they call that intrusion when it goes into the vehicle like that.
Gotcha.
3 people injured in that car, but no life-threatening injuries. That was on
good.
Friday night. Also on Friday night, I left that. It was a busy night and went straight to Gameco, our number 1 story of the week. We've got footage of the inside of Gameco as a minivan drove into the building.
Wow.
Yeah, and barely missed 2 people that were shopping. It's an amazing video. Gameco remains closed temporarily until they can get things fixed. I talked to the owner the other day, and they said they still don't have a date yet. That's a lot of merchandise there damaged, let alone a huge hole in the wall.
Yeah, and the van came in backwards. That's just something else.
It was just an accident. Someone hit the wrong, hit the reverse instead of forward. Also, they had a former location across from the North Park Mall where someone actually drove in there. We were there that day too. So,
really?
Yeah, no one was hurt that day.
Well,
but Gameco, maybe they need to put those big, pylons out front.
They might need some of those pylons out there.
Park some armored cars sideways in front of the building.
Weird that it's happened twice.
I know. Our bonus story of the week, you've been talking about it. How about robots? Yeah, coming up this Sunday, the pregame show. It's the Carl Junction Company, Stokes Robotics. and they'll be performing with Jason Derulo. Jason Derulo. You know who that is, right?
Of course, yeah.
You're a young,
big
savvy,
famous celebrity.
young, savvy, cool guy. You can sing some of that.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Rehearsals are going on, and it'll be. I think it's going to be. I think 1 o'clock Eastern, so that's noon our time.
Gotcha.
And I think you can watch it on TikTok or you can watch it on Fox as well. Of course, we'll be running that on Fox 14. Here in the area. And then a bonus, how about this? Okay, so I don't know if you knew that I'm on the KOAM Presents podcast.
Okay.
I'm not bragging or anything, but they're calling it Shannon, what is it? Unfiltered is what they
Shannon
call it.
Unfiltered, okay.
So Amanda Salgado and I were doing, she's interviewed me and stuff, so it's a new series you can download wherever you find podcasts. And I haven't listened yet. I'm afraid to listen.
Well,
I really am.
You got to try it out. You just
I know.
see how it all goes.
So we'll play it on our Facebook page, though, coming up. So
Gotcha.
people can enjoy it if they don't do podcasts or something like that.
Sounds like a plan.
That's your big 3 this week.
All right. Well, thank you, Shannon. I'll have to check out that Unfiltered podcast.
All right. Yeah. Good luck. You'll be too busy
good.
dancing to Jason Derulo.
Well, I'll find some time. It'll be easy. All righty. Well, we'll be right back after this.
Time for some Finally Friday birthdays, and we begin with Eliza Jean. Now, we had Eliza up yesterday, but it turns out Eliza Jean is actually her first name. There was not a last name that was provided, and we misinterpreted it as Eliza Jean, but it's Eliza Jean as one name. So Eliza Jean, that just means you get to celebrate another day. So another happy birthday to you.
And happy birthday to Timber Mitchell from Chinook, Kansas, who's turning 3.
We've also got Blaze Elmore celebrating birthday number 3 in Columbus, and Blaze is our business manager, Rhonda Zook's grandson. Happy birthday, Blaze.
And Lucas Meyer of Secaucus, Missouri is celebrating his 4th birthday. Happy birthday, Lucas.
And we've got Skyly Pingree celebrating birthday number 7. Says, "We love you, sweet girl," from Dad and Jess.
Natalie Tosti is turning 7 in El Dorado Springs, Missouri. Happy birthday, little sass. Hope you have an awesome day. Love, Mom, Kyla, Mimi, and Papa.
All right, we've got Cooper Milburn celebrating birthday number 13 in Fort Scott. Happy birthday, Cooper.
And Raymond Love from Chinook, Kansas, celebrating their 14th birthday. Love, Mom, Dad, your brothers, and sister.
And we've got Olivia Wallner celebrating number 18 in Carl Junction. Happy birthday, Olivia.
And Ryan Baker turning 45 in Oswego, Kansas.
Oh, you skipped one.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry.
I've done that before too. It's all right, it
It's
happens.
Sarah Golden celebrating the big 21 in Carthage, Missouri. Sarah is studying criminology at Cotty College and is on both the track and golf teams there. Happy birthday, Sarah.
All right, now we've got Ryan Baker celebrating number 45 in Oswego with love from Meg, Lily, and Claire. Happy birthday, Ryan.
Greg Douglas is turning 45 today in Mulberry, Kansas. Happy birthday, Greg.
And Rex Jerry Welch celebrating number 87 in Elk City, Kansas. Happy birthday.
And Sean Bugini of Pittsburgh, Kansas. Happy birthday to you, Sean.
And we've got Dennis and Kathy Olason celebrating their 46th year of wedded bliss in Columbus. Happy anniversary.
And along with them, we've got Richard and Bonnie Freeman celebrating their 62nd anniversary in Columbus, Kansas as well. Congratulations.
Wow, those are some milestones right there.
For sure.
Our list continues with Daisy Schooley celebrating birthday number 69 in Baxter Springs. Johnny and Janet Zwalen celebrating an anniversary in Chitopa. And Holly Baker celebrating a birthday in Parsons. Happy birthday and anniversary to all of you. We want to celebrate with you. You want to celebrate with us. You know you do. Kale, how did they do that?
Well, you can see on screen you can submit your birthdays and anniversaries to the KOAMnewsnow.com website at KOAMnewsnow.com/birthdays.
And of course, you can also send them to birthdays with an S at KOAMnewsnow.com. The electronic age makes things a lot quicker, a lot easier. You can also take time to celebrate with the birthday club. All you have to do is go to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. You get great deals from local businesses and a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. Take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. We've got some snow out there, light snow, some flurries, not really sticking to much, but it's enough that in some areas we could see some slick spots, so just be aware of that. MoDOT camera, 30-second and range line. Roads in Joplin are clear, and we are sitting cloudy and cool out there. 35, feeling like 29 with a north breeze at 7 miles an hour. Across the region, it is cold, but it could be worse. Just keep that in mind. 29 in Yates Center, 27 Iola, 31 Parsons, 36 in Miami, 35 Neosho Carthage, and 33 in Lamar this morning. As we start our day, the light snow and flurries should be out of here by 10 o'clock. We hang on to the 30s throughout the majority of our morning and into the afternoon, and we'll also be left with mostly cloudy skies. We're looking at highs pushing the upper 30s to about 41 in Joplin. Again, mostly cloudy through the afternoon. And as we head into this evening, we start to cool down, of course. Clouds also, though, begin to clear out. We're clear by 10 and 30 with an overnight low of 28 degrees. We go through the weekend. We actually stay pretty decent. We start to get a little bit windy on Sunday, but until then, we're not bad. Temperatures look good. Then late Monday night into Tuesday, we've got rain, maybe even a couple of rumbles of thunder out there, and that will persist through the majority of our Tuesday. So if you're planning anything for Valentine's Day, make sure you are prepared to do it indoors. All right, warming up. So 47 tomorrow, 53 by Sunday with winds gusting about 20, 30 miles an hour. Mid-50s Monday and Tuesday, there's that rain. Wednesday, we clear out for the first part of the day. We're up to 61, if you can believe that. Then we see the possibility of a wintry mix late Wednesday as temperatures fall down to 31. That wintry mix could last into Thursday morning, a high of 38. 38 again next Friday. We're down to 18 Thursday night, by the way. I don't want to talk about it because that's pretty cold, but you got to know, you got to be bundled up, you got to be prepared for Thursday night into Friday. After that, though, we start to warm back up again. We're 47 next Saturday and up to 54 by next Sunday with mostly cloudy skies. Let's check your forecast, birthdays, anniversaries, and all sorts of cool stuff. We are back with the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A pet food factory in Miami, Oklahoma will soon have a new owner. Nestle Purina Pet Care announced plans to buy Red Collar Pet Foods in Miami. Purina has worked with the Red Collar team since 2022 to co-manufacture several pet treats under its Purina and Zooks brands. Red Collar says the sale underscores the quality of the Miami operations and their team. The Miami factory will be the 22nd Purina-owned and operated facility nationwide. Purina is also voluntarily recalling some of its prescription dog food because of potentially elevated levels of vitamin D. The recall includes the Pro Plan Veterinary Diets EL Elemental Prescription Dry Dog Food. Purina received 2 reports of dogs with signs of vitamin D toxicity after eating the food. Once they stopped, the dogs recovered. While vitamin D is an essential nutrient for dogs, if they ingest too much, it can cause vomiting, loss of appetite, increased thirst, increased urination, and kidney dysfunction. Super Bowl excitement builds for students at one area school. Students in McDonald County, Missouri are ready for Sunday as they show off their Chiefs spirit. Yesterday was Touchdown Thursday in the district. Students were encouraged to wear their favorite Chiefs shirt. Today, McDonald County students will celebrate Fired Up Friday. And Kansas City Chiefs fans are everywhere in the 4 states, but we can't forget about the Philadelphia Eagles fans. In a sea of red, one Joplin teacher is cheering for a different team. Tim Gubera grew up in Joplin and is, yes, you guessed it, a Philadelphia Eagles fan. He knows he is in Chiefs territory and shows his team secret spirit. Now that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
As you head out the door, it is a cold one, but we will eventually see the light snow clear out by 10. We're mostly cloudy. Temperatures pushing into the upper 30s to the lower 40s for afternoon highs. Heading into this evening, we get cold again, but the skies begin to clear down to 30 by 10 with a low of 28. But we start warming up heading into the weekend. We're up to 47 tomorrow, 53 Sunday, mid-50s Monday and Tuesday with rain late Monday throughout Valentine's Day, so plan to be indoors. 61 Wednesday, and then temperatures begin to fall. And as they do, we see a light wintry mix move in Wednesday night into Thursday that we're keeping an eye on, and we're down to 38 by next Thursday. So enjoy the little taste of spring while we have it, because it won't last very long. But again, remember, each day on that forecast puts us one day closer to real spring.
Yeah, we're just inching our way there.
Slowly but surely, we're
We'll
getting
be
there.
here before you know it.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, well, coming up today at noon, we're making game day roast beef sliders in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. And ahead on CBS Mornings, the history-making black quarterbacks will battle it out on Sunday, and the first pair of brothers to compete against each other at a Super Bowl.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning show continues. This morning, we're counting down the week's big 3 stories with Shannon Becker, just in case you missed it here.
And we're taking you to Norway, where a National Guard unit is using some frosty conditions to train in. That's going to wrap it up for us now, and we'll see you back here bright and early Monday morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.